Yes, I do think so. I like, of course, feeling elevated, and I'm very fond of beer.
This is the Short Horror Beer Cast. I'm Paul.
And I'm Alec.
Wait, I was just thinking, we should do a Short Horror Beer Cast drinking game. Should set one of those up.
Okay.
You're to chug a beer every time I say the tone is set. Every time you say something's gnarly that we're talking about in the story.
Do I say that a lot? Do I say gnarly?
You've said it a few times, but...
yeah, it's a specter that grabbed onto my neck in Los Angeles and came with me here.
What else would it be? I'm trying to think.
It'd probably be Let's Get Into It.
Oh, well, of course. That's a given, yeah. So you'd be toast by 30 seconds in, probably.
That's a good idea. We'll work on it.
Yeah, all right. Anyway.
Anytime you do a Bradbury impression.
Of course.
That seems to happen every episode.
Yeah, it seems.
And they improve every episode.
Yeah, it's not going to be in this one, though.
All right,
good. Even though I mentioned Ray Bradbury, I'm not doing it. So
you can if you want.
No, I'm not going to do it. It's just I'm not feeling it today. I have to be feeling it, you know.
Okay.
So anyway, so this is the first of a special two-part episode. I had mentioned Ray Bradbury, but it's not a Ray Bradbury story. It's a Charles Beaumont story. We're covering Free Dirt by Charles Beaumont.
Yeah.
And there's a story behind this one. This is why this is going to be a two-part episode, because the story goes that Ray Bradbury was Charles Beaumont's mentor back in the day. He was also Richard Matheson's mentor, by the way. And the story goes is that the Beaumont and Bradbury lived in the same area of Los Angeles, and they would pass frequently a cemetery with a sign hanging on it saying Free Dirt. Okay, and they both agreed that this was an amazing springboard for a story. Free dirt from a cemetery. You know, what the hell would you use that for? It's a great idea to just run with when you're those guys.
Pretty awesome. It's pretty gift wrap for those two.
Yeah, exactly. So Bradbury began making notes for a story with that title, and then one night Beaumont shows up at Ray's house with his own completed story, Free Dirt, and Bradbury says,
I threw up my hands and I said, "You wrote it first. It's yours, huh?" And so Charles Beaumont published it.
Oh shit, did I just do the impression?
You did.
Oh my god. All right. I'm just not feeling myself today. I don't know what's going on.
You're out of your head, son.
Those at home playing along, chug a beer. Be sure to podcast responsibly.
Right.
Yeah. We're going to have to start saying that. Make sure you beer cast responsibly.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, Ray shelved his story after Beaumont showed up with what Ray considered a great story. He said, "No, go ahead. You wrote it first. It's yours. Go publish it." And Ray said he was going to finish the story one day. And finish it he did 42 years later. I'm going to say that again because the cat was running by. So Ray shelved his story with the intention of finishing it one day and finishing it. Oh, motherfucker. All right, hold on. Jesus Christ. So Ray shelved his story with the intention of finishing. Jesus.
You're fucked, dude. You're fucked. That's it.
I really am. So I have to think of something really tragic. I'll do the method actor thing.
Take a swig.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, here we go. I'll do that. Okay. So Ray shelved his story with the intention of finishing it one day and finishing and finish it he did. I sound like I'm fucking stoned. And finish it he did 42 years later.
Is your pilot light off on your stove or something?
No.
Okay.
We're good. And finishing it. Oh, fuck me. And he finished it 42 years later. How about that?
I can relate. Like this open.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So in 1996, he wrote his own version of Free Dirt, and we're going to cover that one in our next episode. So we're going to consider this episode Free Dirt Part 1, even though it's not Part 1. You know what I'm saying. It's one version of Free Dirt, and next episode will be Ray Bradbury's version of Free Dirt, and so that will be Free Dirt Part 2. All right? So now that that's over with, that hellish task is over with.
That was good.
What you got in the glass there?
Well, this actually turned out to be a tough one.
Yeah.
Tried to get literal with it and look for things with dirt in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I came across one that was in Michigan, but it was like a 2-hour drive to go get it. And they weren't open yesterday, so I would have had to do it this morning. And I was like, no. And it's called Shameful Opportunist. I was like, oh my God.
That's perfect.
That's a good one.
That is good.
But I did not get it. There was another one called Dine and Dash.
Okay. That's good too. Yeah. Wow.
I went with a beer from New Holland Brewing Company in Holland, Michigan.
Okay.
And it's called Full Circle.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Full Circle. Oh, I got it. Okay. I see where you're going.
See, it's not as instant, but you think on it, you're like, I get it. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Kolsch style ale.
Of course. Yeah, I love Kolsch's.
Okay, good. Because this one is, it's only 4.4 ABV.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty tame.
A session beer, as they say.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Kolsch is good.
You can definitely play our drinking game.
Oh, yeah. You could go pretty far with these, I think. Unlike the Punchki one where you could have one every week or whatever I said.
Yeah, right.
Because those, this is not a thing like that. This is just like a pretty thin, watery beer. Like a Lowenbrau is a Kolsch, I think.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
I think so.
Man, that's taken me back. I haven't seen or tasted a Lowenbrau since I was a wee lad.
Well, watch Miami Vice. They used to whack those things.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I got, yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
No, that's great.
Oh, and I got it from Pine Ridge Market. His name's Billy, so I want to say thanks to Billy.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, boy.
All right, so this is a little public service announcement that we're going to make here. I'm going to make here.
Okay.
That when you go shopping to pair a beer with the horror story of your choice, number one, take your reading glasses with you. Okay, and number two, be centered. Don't be all over the place. Like I was 2 hours ago.
Oh, shit.
When I said, shit, I got to get a beer. And I was frantic because I had the perfect one picked out. And I put off going to the place to get it. Okay. And I'm not going to say it because I still think I can get my hands on it. It'll just be for our next episode.
Right.
So I said, all right, I'll just go to the store. Like we've said often, let's go and just rely on serendipity.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, the one that I had on my mind to pick for the show, I called the place that makes it, a little microbrewery, and I called them, and they're closed today. It's like the brewer's Sabbath day today, so they weren't open.
Right.
So I was like, God damn it. So that's why I was frantic. So I went to the store and at the very last minute and got a couple of things without my reading glasses. The first one that I picked said Nightmare on it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was the name of it. It wasn't the name of it. It's called Shekheh, Shekkeh, and it defines what that is on the can. It's a Persian-style sour ale brewed with black cherries, pomegranate, Persian black limes, and damask roses.
Oh.
I don't know what any of those things are.
They don't belong in beer as far as I know.
Well, I have to tell you, man. So this one wasn't right. I said, I'm going to get this beer, and I chose it. And then I said, well, I don't know anything about it. Let me get a backup. So I got a backup. It wasn't until I got home and put on my glasses that I realized this just wasn't the beer to use. Okay. For starters, it's a beautiful piece of artwork on the can. It looks like a death metal album cover. Not Mayhem. It's like one of these bands that like just really gory, disgusting album covers.
Right.
Because it's a like guy hanging upside down and some like masked Arab fresh off of a camel. There's a camel in the background, and like the camel's head is in the air braying, and the guy's disemboweling somebody with a giant sword.
Holy shit.
And his guts are spilling out. I mean, this would be great for if we were doing like a splatterpunk story.
Sure.
But
right.
It doesn't work for free dirt, and the style of ale doesn't work for free dirt either. So I got the other one, and I said, I'm going to try this one, though. So I've been pre-gaming with it, and it's actually really good.
Oh, wow.
I didn't think I would like it, but I just wanted to try it because it was so weird. I usually don't like sour ales. I'm finding it really nice. So
you're okay with that?
Yeah. So the one I got is called Autumnal Harvester.
Oh.
Yeah, and that is...
Fuck. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's by the Abomination Brewing Company.
Of course it is.
And it wasn't until I got home that I realized it was another sour ale.
Holy shit.
Yeah, with brambleberry, cranberry, orange marmalade, and cherry.
Oh.
So, like you, I'm not a big fan of fruit in my beers either.
Right.
Okay, so I liked this other one, so I'm going to try this one out. This is the first sip, okay? This is the first crack of it. Ready? There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like music.
Yeah, it really is. Can you hear that?
I can.
A little beautiful ASMR. And here we go. No, just kidding. No, it's actually really good. No, it's actually pretty good. It's not, again, it's it's that kind of sour ale that I don't really dig 100%, but...
You can muddle your way through it?
Yeah, it's not like I would throw it out at all.
All right.
It's actually
well, good. Congrats, dude.
Yeah,
That's
well,
two
thank
for
you.
two.
So... Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes throughout the episode. But right now, I'm enjoying it. So, So now that we got our beers, cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
God, anything for a drink. In my goddamn soul. Just a glass of beer.
So we already had our in-depth bio of Charles Beaumont in episode 3, which we when we covered Friction. Great story.
Right.
Check out that episode for a refresher course. So let's talk about the story. Free Dirt was published in 1955 in the Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. And this magazine holds a very dear place in my heart, not because they published just about every writer I've ever been influenced by, because they have, but 66 years after they published Free Dirt, they also published one of my stories. Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome.
This is shameless bragging and self.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was in January of 2021. The story's called Full Worm Moon. Go check it out. Mm-hmm. So I don't even know if you can find the magazine anymore. I don't think you can. You can find it on eBay probably. So
I got the inside track. You can send it to me.
Okay, you got it. So let's get into it. Chug a beer. Free Dirt by Charles Beaumont. And we open with a great first line. No fowl had ever looked so posthumous. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the remains of a very large dinner. This is the cinematic Beaumont. We're starting out with an establishing shot. We see a pile of chicken bones picked clean of every atom of meat. And then the camera pans over and we see many smaller plates stacked up in a dessert cup with red specks of Jell-O clinging to it. And we notice that the tablecloth is completely unstained. A wonderful description that Charles Beaumont employs to open up the story. Just opens with an establishing shot. This is what he's really good at. So finally we get his zoom out. You can totally picture this thing. We're just starting on the table. We're looking at this, and this. Now we zoom out, and we see who's presiding over this dinner carnage. It's a Mr. Aorta. I'm going to talk a second about these word choices and names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's a big fat man, and he's just finished a meal in a diner and is now about to approach the cashier to pay his bill. However, when he gets there, he freezes with his wallet open. He starts frantically removing all his cards and shit. Then he checks all his pockets. Finally, he turns the wallet upside down and shakes it. And I love this. Beaumont describes the wallet as looking like a hydrophobic bat suddenly seized in midair.
That is great.
It's awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. So Mr. Aorta apologizes profusely to the cashier. He says, you know what? My wife must have taken all my cash and left me nothing. But he says, I promise I'll reimburse you. He tells her his name is James Brocklehurst, and he's with the Pliofilm Corporation. He says, take my card. I insist on leaving my card, he says, as if she'd refuse it because it might inconvenience him. He's like, oh, please, I insist.
No, really, I'm doing
right. So he gives her the card and says he'll return the next day with the money. Then he grabs a toothpick and he leaves. Mm-hmm. And that's our introduction to this fat bastard. As he leaves, and by the way, not fat shaming here. I'm a big fat bastard too. So,
A lot of that going around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is America. Damn it, we're all fat bastards. So, as he leaves, we see that he's quite pleased with himself. We find out his true passion in life is getting something for nothing. So, he's obviously done this before. He's walking to a streetcar stop and he pauses to gawk at the undressed mannequins in the department store window.
Creep. That's so fucked up.
I love it. And that's all you hear about that aspect of his personality, by the way, for the rest of the
It tells you a
story.
lot about him that he's like, oh, look over there. Look at that.
Yep. Scrolling by, he's just going to stop and gawk at them. So now he boards a streetcar using his time-tested method. Beaumont lays it out for us. You fumble through your pockets looking inconspicuous. You prolong the action while you edge into the middle of the crowd out of the conductor's view, and then you take a seat in the back and read a newspaper. He says Mr. Aorta computed that after 4 years of pulling this crap, he saved $211.20. As I often do, I get obsessed over these numbers. Streetcar tokens back in 1954, when the story was probably written, they cost 16 cents each.
16?
16 cents.
Okay.
So today's money, that's about $1.90. So this motherfucker saved just over $2,500 in today's money.
That's crazy.
Right?
Wow.
So this is 1954. This is like toward the end of streetcars in the U.S. They were already on their way out by this time, but that didn't stop our friend Mr. Aorta. So he's sitting in the streetcar. He's doing a puzzle in the paper. He glances up and he sees an elderly woman standing near him, and because her face is full of tired pleading, he decides to look out the window instead. So again, That's all you need to know also about Mr. Aorta. So, he's just a son of a bitch.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he totally is. So it's now that he notices that they are journeying down a part of town known locally as Death Row. And it's because it's crowded with mortuaries and crematories and all the business of death, basically. And that's when he sees something that makes his heart throb with excitement. He pulls the cord to stop the car. He leaps off. And now we find out what it is that he saw. It's a sign that reads, "Free dirt, inquire within." And below that, Lilyvale Cemetery. So his mind is on fire. Okay, he wants that free dirt. Mr. Aorta's chief goal in life is to get free shit, and it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what he's going to use it for. He'll think of something.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts to think about where free dirt being offered by a cemetery might logically be coming from. Then he stops himself when he gets to the notion that the dirt is probably rich for reasons upon which he dares not speculate.
Yeah.
So if this dirt is coming out of the ground when they bury somebody, and it's been enriched by all the wonderful minerals.
Yeah, all the fine decomposition down there.
Yes, exactly.
Ugh, that's some gnarly dirt.
Yeah. Take a drink.
I said gnarly. Oh, fuck. That wasn't even intentional.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. Yeah, I do say it a lot, apparently, because that one just came out. Holy shit. Yeah, hold on. I'll drink.
Okay.
I'm going to need to get another beer here in a minute.
Yeah. Now we get a beautiful description of the cemetery itself, where Beaumont subtly breaks the fourth wall. I think we saw this in Friction too. He's sort of talking to the audience. It's a very removed narrator to the story. He says, "The blistered hummocks, peaked with crosses, slabs, and stones, loomed gray and sad in their gloaming. Withal, a place purely delightful to describe, and a pity it cannot be. For how it looked there that evening has little to do with the fat man and what was to become of him. Important only that it was a place full of dead people on their backs underground, moldering and moldered." Wonderful.
Yeah.
So Mr. Aorta makes a deal with the cemetery manager that he'll be back the following Saturday to pick up his free dirt. And then he goes home to, quote, "ruminate agreeable ruminations," end quote. You know, by now we realize that Beaumont has a very playful style in his prose. I think that's a sign of where he's coming from as far as his origin story is concerned. He's part of this California group. I've talked about them before with Madison and Bradbury, Rod Serling, all these guys. They all sort of came out of this, and they would read each other's stories and critique each other's stories. And they all, I guess, sort of evolved a similar manner of approaching their storytelling. When it was a fun little horror tale or a fun little weird tale, they would just have fun with it, and you can tell they're having fun, you know?
Ruminate agreeable ruminations is great.
Yeah. So,
really good.
Yeah, it's things like that. He says, just talking about the beautiful way he describes the cemeteries, and he just throws in, "It's a place purely delightful to describe, and a pity it cannot be." For it's, he said, it's not, this has nothing to do with the story. This is Mr. Aorta's story. This isn't my turn to shine, but he already has.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, that night, Mr. Aorta finally figures it out. He's going to plant a garden in his backyard. Okay, Beaumont describes his backyard as an ochre waste. He says it was once a flourishing yard with trees and birds, but all that went to shit once Mr. Aorta moved in. So this guy just brings pestilence wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So he plans to cover his land with his free dirt and get to work. He's got thousands of seeds that he had gotten as free samples sometime before, and he tried growing some of them, but they didn't produce. But now, with his new dirt, enriched as it is, he can really do some damage.
Yeah, for sure.
So he borrows a pickup truck from his neighbor, Mr. Santucci, and he gets to work hauling the free dirt to his house. Pretty much takes him all day, but he gets it done. Mm-hmm. The next day, he spreads the dirt evenly throughout the yard, and then he busies himself with mailing back half-empty packages of food items and detergent so he can take advantage of all the money-back guarantees that these products have with them.
What a dick.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And then next, as if he didn't hate him enough, he sits down to a dinner of anchovies, sardines, mushrooms, caviar, olives, and pearl onions. Beaumont says he doesn't really enjoy these things. It's just that they are items small enough to fit into your pockets at the grocery store. So, me being me, I think I did this with friction too. I'm trying to think of what you can make with all those things.
Yeah, you did do that.
Yeah.
With that, you could, anchovies, sardines, mushrooms, caviar, and olives, and pearl onions. You could make a pizza.
Oh, sure. There you go.
You know, it'd be pretty gross, but...
Pretty gross. With the sardines, I think I would leave the sardines out, but, you know, and maybe the caviar, too.
And the pearl onions.
And maybe...
And the anchovies.
and the anchovies, and, yeah.
So you'd have mushrooms?
Yeah.
Olives?
Yeah. Actually, I do love all those things. But what you got there is an umami bomb. You know, umami?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, well, the first time I ever said that to Kim, I said, this tastes like umami or something I said. And she says, this tastes like your mommy, she said.
Nice one. Hey,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Out of all of those, I can handle mushrooms if they're just not many of them. Or if they're like morels, those are good. But regular mushrooms gross me out too. And sardines are good on like saltines with mustard, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I like olives. No, sorry. Olives. Yeah, I love olives. What am I saying? It's just the pearl onions got me all week.
Right, of course.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, you have a pretty decent Bloody Mary garnish here with all these things.
No, I won't drink it.
No?
No.
I'd blend all these things up together and just add a little spoonful to like a stew or whatever you're making, or to like chili or something.
That would be better.
Yeah, because then it just boosts everything. It boosts the umami.
Yeah. So wait a minute. Am I mixing that word up with something else? I think I am. E-D... What is it? E-D-A...
Oh, edamame.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no. Umami is the fifth taste. So you have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and then you have umami.
Why is it called... How do you spell it?
It's U-M-A-M-I.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds totally made up, and it kind of is, I guess.
I'm with Kim. That's a great response. That's good.
And the best I've ever heard it explained what umami is it tastes like what is on your tongue when you bite into a really charred piece of meat, like a charred burger or a charred steak. And you have that nice, like, you can't really describe what that is. It's just sort of there.
Umami.
So olives have umami, mushrooms have umami.
I just don't think I can incorporate that word into the lexicon myself. I don't like it.
I don't like it either, trust me. I'm saying it so much, but it's just very uncomfortable. And I use it basically, I just troll my wife with it. That's all I use it for. All right, let's get back to it. So...
Drink.
Oh, yeah, right. Right, but I digress. That needs a drink.
Get on with it!
Okay, so for the next 5 weeks, he's making weekly trips to the cemetery, all with the help of Mr. Santucci's truck. Santucci and Mrs. Santucci aren't happy. Okay, we get a glimpse of their life, that Mrs. Santucci especially, by the way. She wonders what Mr. Aorta does all day, that he brings home so little money. She says he's been borrowing sugar and spices and everything else from them over the years. And then Beaumont tells us that Mr. Aorta spends his days in dark glasses with a tin cup on the street. He's pretending to be a blind beggar. As a matter of fact, Beaumont says the Santuccis, unbeknownst to them, have actually given him money. Just piling on the bad traits this guy has.
He's a bastard.
Yeah. Now it's
Hold on.
Yeah, sure.
Is he making money in any way, or is he just panhandling?
I think he's panhandling and just getting free shit, and that's all he's doing.
That's all he does?
Yeah.
Well, then fuck him then. I thought maybe he was up against it and had
Oh,
problems.
no.
I always look for the good and even the biggest assholes.
Yeah, and what's funny, too, is that he's like a big fat dude, so he's obviously feeding himself well. He's really making out here.
And are we going to gloss over the fact that his name's Aorta when he's all fat?
Right, yes. I meant to mention that when I was talking about the humorous style.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It might be in Stir of Echoes. Richard Matheson mentions so-and-so, Mr. Areola. It's like what? They just like doing stuff like that. It's just so funny. But yeah, his name is Mr. Aorta, and he's a big fat guy.
Yeah.
Now it's finally time for Mr. Aorta to plant his seeds. We find out he's got dozens of vegetables to plant, and a few fruits as well. So a few days later, he plants them, and a few days later, he notices that, quote, the dark ground had begun to yield to tiny eruptions, end quote. He's obviously very happy about this, and he goes to the cemetery to grab more dirt. Okay. To his dismay, though, he finds that not many people have died as of late. He's depressed about that. He thinks, whatever, the business will probably pick up around the holidays. I mean, he's not wrong. What little dirt he gets, he adds, and then finds a few days later that it's doing its job. Whatever magical fertilizer must be in there. I wrote, pause to consider what is actually going on with this soil.
Yeah, I don't know what he's got cooked up in his mind, Beaumont, but
yeah,
it's got to just be because it's full of decomposing people.
Yeah, that's how I'm thinking about it.
Gross.
Yeah.
Super, super active soil because there's... That's really gross.
Yeah.
Wow. That idea is super gross.
It's great. It's gross and great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. We got to make up a word for that when it's like gross but really cool. It's like that's so cool. It's so it has to be like that's so imaginatively gross. What could be the word for that?
Gnarly.
Right, yeah.
Get on with it!
So the next time he goes to the cemetery, there's not even a shovel's load of dirt available. Bad news for Mr. Aorta, because his garden is now beginning to die. He makes a decision. He decides he's going to sneak into the cemetery at night, locate freshly dug graves, and as Beaumont puts it, add to their 6-foot depth yet another foot.
Ugh.
So he sneaks into the cemetery, and he's just removing a foot of dirt from every open grave that's in there. So he says, he thinks no one will ever know. So he brings his dirt home, he spreads it out, and wouldn't you know it, the next morning the garden is flourishing once again. So it goes on like this for a bit, and in no time Mr. Aorta has got himself a hell of a garden. Everything is ready, and it's now time to harvest. And Beaumont says, quote, a liver for the moment and an idiot in the art of canning, he knew what he had to do, end quote. Which I love that phrase. So what he's going to do is, because he doesn't know how to preserve anything, he's just going to cook the whole lot of them. Mm-hmm. And basically eat as much as he can in one sitting.
Of course he is.
So he strips his garden clean, he prepares everything to be cooked, he arranges everything in alphabetical order, starting with the asparagus, and he begins to chow down. And we now get a mirror of the opening scene. When he's done, every plate is completely clean of food. It's exactly what we saw when we opened. Every plate was completely shining clean because Mr. Aorta just scraped every last bit of food off of them.
I picture him licking the plate.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's what he's probably doing. Yeah, absolutely. Because these plates are like sparkling clean.
Yeah.
So he's beyond happy, and Beaumont compares it to an almost sexual satisfaction. His two greatest passions in life have been fulfilled at once. Basically, just getting something for free and eating.
Yeah.
So then, it's nighttime, and he looks out the window, and it's very dark, and he can just make out what he sees. He's not quite sure what it is. So he rises from his chair, quote, with the effort of a brontosaurus emerging from a tar pit, end quote.
I've been that after a meal once or twice.
I think we all been there.
I won't lie.
What he finds out there is what he assumes is a peculiar white flower. He describes it as a, quote, white fronded thing, end quote. And what's more, it's located within a shallow pit in the ground. It's funny, he can't remember digging any such pit. He assumes that maybe those darn neighborhood kids are playing a prank on him. He reaches down to touch the strange flower, but it somehow resists his touch. He leans farther and farther over, and he still can't get a grasp of it. It's just eluding him. Finally, he stretches his big fat body, he loses his balance, and he tumbles into the hole. And the audience cheers. And bad news, the hole is deeper than he realized. He's actually in over his head.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to climb out of it. He looks around, and he can't find the flower that he was trying to grasp. But when he looks up, he sees the flower. It's on the rim of the pit now. And I forgot to mention that I think it's a full moon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's illuminated by the moonlight.
Right.
So it's at this point he becomes aware of a pain in his stomach from overeating. He can feel it in his chest and ribs. That's never a good thing. Yeah. The flower, in the meantime, glowing in the moonlight, looks like, quote, a big human hand, waxy and stiff and attached to the earth, end quote. Creepy image.
Yeah.
It's hit by the wind, and it begins to wave back and forth. And in doing so, it slaps against the earth and knocks some dirt into the pit, right into Mr. Aorta's face. He tries to climb out, but his stomach pains are so bad that he actually falls back down. Meanwhile, the flower continues waving in the wind, and it's knocking more and more dirt into the hole. It's getting crazy now, so much so that Mr. Aorta screams, but no one hears it. The dirt keeps coming down, and pretty soon he's up to his knees in it, and then Beaumont tells us his screams take on a muffled quality, and soon after, the garden is completely silent. So now, we take a little break. When we come back from our break, it's like the commercial, right? And then when we come back from our break, we see that Mr. and Mrs. Santucci have found Mr. Aorta lying on the floor of his kitchen next to his tables and their stacks of clean plates. His stomach is distended, quote, past burst belt buckle, popped buttons, and forced zipper. Mrs. Santucci surmises he must have ate himself to death. She kind of sort of making a morbid joke.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Santucci notices something. He squats down by the body, and he plucks a tiny ball of dirt from Mr. Aorta's mouth. And the idea comes to him then, and Beaumont tells us. He tried to get rid of the idea, but when the doctors found Mr. Aorta's stomach to contain many pounds of dirt and nothing else to speak of, Mr. Santucci slept badly for almost a week.
Yeah, for sure.
So, out of the goodness of their hearts, the Santuccis pay for a funeral and burial for him in Lilyvale Cemetery. So Beaumont concludes, and the wind blew absolutely free. Boom.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a question.
Okay. So do I.
Right?
I bet you it's the same one.
Get on with it!
Yeah, what the fuck is that flower?
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. So Beaumont wrote a story called Perchance to Dream. Happens to be the name of the collection that the story is from. And in that story, it became a Twilight Zone episode. In that story, a guy goes into, there's a spoiler alert here. The guy goes into a psychiatrist's office and he lays down on the couch and he starts telling about a recurring nightmare he's had, where he's going into this carnival fun house and things are jumping at him and scaring him and his like heart's racing. And I forget, he sees a really creepy lady, and she's going to take him on a ride or something, and it's going to mean his death, okay, when he sees her, something like that. Anyway, what it is that at the end, the story's kicker ending is that none of that actually happened in the story. He just laid down on the psychiatrist's couch and died. He had a heart attack. And this whole story, him telling all the stuff, was actually his death agony the whole time.
Oh, okay.
And the kicker ending is the doctor says something like, well, at least he died peacefully. You know? So I have a feeling that what happened here is that Mr. Aorta, I'm thinking he basically just ate a bunch of dirt and didn't really eat vegetables. I think he was eating dirt, or the vegetables devolved into dirt or something like that in his stomach.
Okay.
And this whole thing was his death agony, you know, him looking at the flower. And that was all a hallucination, and this pit was all a hallucination. And really what he died was just overeating a bunch of dirt. There's another interpretation, I guess, where something just supernaturally weird happened, and he wound up being buried in this pit and ate himself out of it. You know?
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, that was...
He ate his way out. Gross.
Yeah. There's a writer, Dennis Etchison, wrote like a Twilight Zone radio show adaptation of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And that is sort of the implied ending, that he ate himself out of the hole.
Okay.
Which is fun.
I like it.
Yeah.
But he'd be covered in dirt. He'd be filthy. You know,
Right. So that's
like
the thing.
He just
So,
had a little bit on the corner of his mouth or something.
which makes me think that, yeah, this was just all a hallucination for him. And he just basically ate a whole bunch of goddamn dirt and died.
That'll do it.
Yep. That'll do it every time.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That goes to my full circle choice.
Absolutely.
All right.
So now we know.
Yeah, it's a weird story. This is
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously weird. I mean, I've read weirder.
Yes.
That part, you know, because I couldn't pin it exactly what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
Made me go, I'm better than this. I should know what happened. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I was the same way. And I think it's probably purposely meant to be a little bit ambiguous. You just
A little bit like the Rear Window, or the boarded window.
Oh, right. Yes, the board. I was like with Jimmy Stewart. Yeah.
Jimmy Stewart. Yeah, where it was like, was she dead? Was she? What happened? You know, it's up to you.
Yeah, it's up to you. And of course, I prefer the just the complete supernatural thing. Like he's just
Sure.
this dirt, just from the cemetery, charged with this evil intention of Mr. Aorta.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
That's got to be what it is.
yeah. Just
It's the only thing I'll accept now. Well, maybe he ate his way out of the hole is good too, though.
that's a good one too. I like that one too. They're both pretty cool.
All right, I feel better now.
Okay.
Understanding that.
Unlike Mr. Aorta.
Yeah. Mr. Clogged Aorta.
It's so great because, like a guy like that, you would say, well, yeah, his indulgences should be the death of him one day. And you just don't think that this is the way it should happen.
Lesson in the dangers of gluttony.
Yeah, you may wind up eating a fuck ton of dirt one day, thinking it's vegetables.
Yeah, just taking all the free shit you can like a glutton.
Yeah, the kicker at the end is that he just winds up in Lilyvale Cemetery.
Yeah.
There you
good.
have it. So that was Free Dirt by Charles Beaumont. My Autumnal Harvester by Abomination Brewing Company is still with me, and it's still holding up.
Good.
Yeah, it's maybe my tastes are maturing a little bit. I don't know.
They're evolving.
Who knows? But
That's good.
I like it.
Are you sensing notes in there?
I think I am. I'm getting notes of dirt. Oh, it's actually really good. So, but it has that fruity, I don't even know what it's like a kind of little bit of that bitter orange thing going on that you get
Yeah.
with a lot of like sour ales have that. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly what you mean because that Soft Parade fruit ale I had was really bad.
Right. It's tart and bitter. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's just like, let's see how much we can cram in here and have people go, it's
And have people say, oh, it's craft. That's craft. You put the craft in craft beer.
ooh, what a bold statement.
Yeah, right.
No, it's not.
Right.
Sorry, Shorts Brewing.
Yeah. The bold statement would be a straight up English pale ale.
Yeah.
That's a bold statement these days.
I have a story.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story, then I'll go to bed.
When I first read the beginning of this with the big fella at the table,
Yeah.
hammering down all the food and then leaving, I have a similar story to that actually happened.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's so good.
Okay.
Okay, I'll leave it up to you if it's actually good, but
Okay.
it killed me. Okay, so I used to work at a production company with a good friend of mine that I grew up with. We ended up working together, and it was awesome. His name's Steve.
Okay.
And for lunch, we would go sometimes to a place called Leo's Coney,
Okay.
which is, I don't know if Coney Islands are big there. Michigan's got a real hard-on for Coney Islands here. I don't know what's going on. Like
Okay.
Coney dogs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're everywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're having lunch, and a guy to my left, Steve's right, we're at a booth by the window, by the outside of the restaurant. Like, we're inside, but at the window. And there's a guy to my left, Steve's right, with his back to us. And he's fucking enormous. He's not just wide, he's huge.
Okay.
And I don't know how he fit in this booth. I think he shoved the table all the way to the other side because he was all by himself.
Yeah.
And I saw people that were in his eye line because his back was to us, but the people who were facing him were kind of looking at him sideways like, oh my God, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And he's kind of hunched over, and I can see that he's eating. He's making a, real meal out of this meal.
Yeah.
And I said to Steve, I'm like, whoa, check that guy out. And he's like, oh my God. And he had a white collared shirt on and suspenders.
Okay.
Over it.
Yeah.
And he was wearing glasses because I could see the strap around the back of his shaved head.
Oh, okay.
Like they were held on with a strap. And then he had like a brush cut.
Okay.
Real, like, and the back of his head was just all scarred up and crazy looking.
Yeah.
He had a pack of hot dogs on his neck. He was just giant. He was a giant.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. So we can hear him eating. He's like mumbling and grunting all over his food. And he stands up. And he's just fucking Titanic. He gets up. He's wearing jeans that are held up with suspenders. And his arms are like, oh my God, they look like, I don't know what. They were huge.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't mean to carry on, but he's one of the biggest people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, holy shit. I go, Steve, look at that dude. And so he gets up, never faces us.
Yeah.
Goes storming, like walking real purposeful. He's not running, he's not jogging, but he's walking like, I gotta go. And he's heading towards the bathroom.
Okay. Oh.
So he goes in, and all you see is him throw the door open. Bam! It hits the wall. And he goes in. Bam! It closes. And everybody's like, what the hell, man? This guy's crazy. So he's in there for a while. And
I would
Steve's
have pulled the fire alarm by that point.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So Steve goes, he's got to come out sooner or later. What the hell? And all of a sudden, we hear, boom, the door opens. And here he comes out. And he's got a look on his face like a fucking thundercloud, dude. He looks pissed. He's like, he comes walking out. He's all hunched forward, like storming over it. He goes up to the cashier, pulls into his jeans, pulls out a big wad of bills.
Okay.
Slaps it down on the counter, never stops walking, goes out the door. He's fucking gone. He leaves. Okay. We're like, holy shit, that was incredible. And we're like, what the fuck? And we were kind of giggling about it.
Yeah. And
then we hear, oh my God, like from the back. And somebody comes out of the bathroom just like holding their head like they're in pain. They come out and they're like, oh my God, oh my God. We're like, look at that. What's going on? And they're having this powwow. They're like pointing at the bathroom and they're like doing this no gesture with their hands. We're like, no, what's going on? And so this manager comes out. He's like, I'll take care of it. And he goes storming in there and he comes out and he's like, oh my God. He's like, seriously, like everyone comes out of the bathroom holding their head. Like they've been hit in the head. They're like, oh my God. Oh my God. And we're going, holy shit. So different people try and like save the day and go in there and they all come out just wrecked.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck? And suddenly one of the busboys grabs those signs like that says on one side, please wait to be seated. And on the other side, this section closed.
Yeah.
Well, he put a big, this section closed sign in front of the bathroom. It was done. The guy killed it. Whatever he did in there, I don't know what happened in there, but he fucking shut it down. And we were like, what? That's amazing. And so we were cracking up. I'm like, I don't think I want to stay in here. We should probably go.
Yeah.
So as we're getting all our stuff together, I go, dude, look, they take the this section closed sign and they move it closer towards the front door. Like this whole section over here is closed. We're like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously.
So we go up to the cashier and I looked at her and she's pale. I go, what the hell happened in there? And she just looks at us like in a daze, like, what? I go, what happened in there? And she goes, it's so bad. It's so bad. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? Steve's crying. He can't even breathe. He's like, this is amazing. And so we paid. And the sign, while we're paying, the guy comes over with the sign and puts it right by the cashier. This whole half of the restaurant is now closed.
Oh, my God.
It's fucking closed. We're like, come on, what? Yeah. So we go outside and we're like just dying. We're like, what could have happened?
Yeah.
And we're talking about it, talking about Steve goes, dude, look. And they turned the sign around on the door to
Yeah.
closed. They shut the fucking place down, and Steve goes, "Look at that. No way. You got to be kidding me. What did that fucking guy do?" And we were dying. And I looked around. I'm like, he's got to be somewhere. Where the fuck? And we never saw him.
Yeah.
Never saw him again, but we just stood there and cried laughing. Steve sat down and laughed. He couldn't even deal. He's like, he closed the restaurant with that dump. Whatever he did in there, he killed it.
That's amazing.
And fucking dude, I haven't laughed that hard probably since.
That is
It was
really
like, that's the most amazing human I have ever seen.
It's a prodigious lad.
He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an avalanche of a human. He was just amazing. He just fucking killed that place.
I imagine like whoever went in there looked in the toilet and saw like what the guy saw out of Eric Zahn's window. You know,
Yes,
swirling chaos,
lightning and
like,
just like abyss. It's like, oh my god!
and I'm like, close this place down.
So we're like, seriously, what could he have done to shut it down?
Yeah.
Did the bowl break underneath him? Did it like smash apart? Did something happen? Did he tear shit off the walls?
Right.
Because he was pissed. He left
like,
there like, you never saw a face like this. It was like terrifying. Like that's the scariest guy I've ever seen. And he went fucking storming out of there and he was gone.
I think he angered like a colony of alligators that were down in the sewer, and they were breaking out.
I think he conjured some sort of demon in there. I don't know what he did, but it was fucking funny, man. It was
That's
like
amazing.
Unbelievable. It was just the sign creeping closer and closer.
Right, the sign creeping, and then it's like the hell with it. We're closing the whole place.
Oh my god, that poor girl.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's so bad.
She wouldn't even tell me what was so bad.
Yeah, so she's got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. She really was. She was shell shocked. So I was like, this is amazing. This is amazing. I've never seen anything like this.
That guy declared war on the American sewer system.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a short story. It was such a like this character was designed.
Yeah,
he didn't just show up. He was designed by someone. Because
right. He was conjured.
Holy fuck, he was incredible. He was so huge. Unbelievable. It was
That's
great.
Amazing. That's a great story.
It was really good. It was really good.
Enjoy the rest of your beer. I'm
Thank you very much.
Try to drink mine after that story. Holy shit.
Secretly, I love that guy. I don't know where he went, what happened, but
God bless him.
But what a amazing thing to do.
What's great is that he emptied his pockets of all his cash and was just like, here, this should cover it, whatever it is.
Yeah, he threw it down like, you count it. I'm out. Fuck this. Wow.
And like to go in there, let's just analyze this a little bit. To go in there first with like you go in there, you slam the door open, then slam the door closed.
Yeah.
And then he comes out pissed looking.
Yeah, he came out like fuck this.
Yeah, I'm so angry that toilet couldn't deal with the
I thought we had
A-bomb.
a deal here.
Right.
didn't hold up its end.
That's right.
I don't know what he did. I don't. Yeah.
This didn't fulfill its obligations to humanity.
Yeah, it was just a pleasure to have been part of that.
Yeah,
the whole thing at the far end of the restaurant. That
goddamn deuce of death.
Because people were leaving, they're shuffling out. They're like, "No way, I'm not staying here." And the sign kept moving and moving. Holy shit! Oh my god! Wow. I don't mean to carry on, but it was that.
No,
good.
that's a great story. It really is. It's amazing.
Yeah. So if that guy's listening, man, you made my day.
You made my millennium.
It was incredible.
Perhaps we should end on that note.
Yeah, for sure.
End on that brown note, dare I say. Close it out. We're going to close out part 1 of Free Dirt. We'll see everyone next time for part 2 of Free Dirt by Ray Bradbury, the one and only Ray Bradbury.
Beautiful.
And that's that. All right, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Good one, dude. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you.